Hi guys, Sarah here and welcome to Novel Expectations. Today I'm coming to you with a video all about some great vacation reads. When I originally thought about doing this video, my first thought was doing compiling a list of great books that I thought would be a lot of fun to read at the beach or on vacation. You see a lot of these lists pop up at this time of year, or even earlier, like late May. I know I was kind of doing a search to see if I could find any other books that would make some great beach reads that maybe I hadn't thought about, and I came across a lot of lists online. So if you're ever interested, just do a Google search on summer beach reads or summer reads. You can find tons of stuff. I know there's a bunch of lists on Goodreads as well. But anyway, the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized that the books that I was picking all held special significance to me that I read on vacation or during the summer or what have you. So this video is now going to become sort of a discussion video slash sharing with you some books that I consider some great reads for vacation. So jump in and get started. When I was a kid, we used to travel to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for vacation every summer. And then in later years, we would go to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Now, the trip to Myrtle Beach, we're in southern Ontario in Toronto, was a 2.5-day drive. You could do it a lot quicker than that, but you know, you got only, my parents driving and 2 younger kids in the car, and those of you who have done it understand. And Virginia Beach was always a day and a half, pretty much. Now, every single year before we would leave for these vacations, about a week before, came the part that, I love the vacation, don't get me wrong, I love going down to the beach. But I loved the build up to it because we would go downtown Toronto to a place called the World's Biggest Bookstore. And I don't know if it was ever actually the World's Biggest Bookstore or whether that was just its name. For those of you who are from the Toronto area, if you remember that store, please post in the comments below. Share your memories with me because I love that place. So we would go down to this bookstore every year, and my parents would let my brother and I each pick like 4 or 5 books to bring on vacation with us because we would read in the car, we would read on the beach, a lot of downtime. So anyway, my parents would also pick up books and stuff like that, but the books, of course, that I always remember picking up, from when I was young, 7, 8, 9 years old, were, of course, The Babysitter's Club, and the one I picked to show you guys is super special number 8, The Babysitters at Shadow Lake, which is a summertime read. The next ones were, of course, the Nancy Drew books. Love the Nancy Drew books. It was more these ones, the Case Files and the Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys series, as I did read some of the old school these ones, but not as much. I don't remember reading these as much on vacation. It was more these books. And, of course, Sweet Valley High. Now, so when I started to get a little bit older, into my later teens, I remember going to my mom one time in this bookstore, getting ready to go on vacation, and I kind of walked over to her, that whole sulky teenager thing, I can't find anything to read. And my mom kind of laughed because she thought that maybe I was getting out of the YA and, maybe I should try some more adult books because back then we didn't have the YA section or selection that there is now. At the time, I was probably at that point reading V.C. Andrews. And I think that summer leading up to that vacation, I was reading Ruby, the Ruby series, if I remember correctly, which is still my favorite of the V.C. Andrews series, and I want to reread it. But that's when she pulled off the shelf The Cat Who Wasn't There, which was one of the books in the Cat Who series, about a man and his 2 cats, and they solve mysteries. The Cat Who Wasn't There was a really fun one, too, because Jim goes off on this expedition to the UK. I'm pretty sure Ireland is one of them. But essentially a murder takes place, and the cat who's all the way back home solves it, or helps solve it, hence the title of the book. Super duper cute. It sounds really, really fluffy, or even maybe supernatural, like what does this cat have, magic powers? No, it's just, it's fun. I highly recommend these books, really. Next up, Confessions of a Shopaholic. I read this book my 26th birthday. I read it the day after my 26th birthday. I know, pretty damn specific. We were going on a cruise. My parents, I paid for half of it, and my parents paid for the other half for my birthday present. And my aunt came with us, so it was the 4 of us. And we flew from Toronto to the Dominican Republic, and then got on the cruise ship there, and blah, 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 did our thing, and it was a lot of fun. So, my birthday is in March, the 5th of March. We were leaving for the cruise on the 6th of March. There was a massive snowstorm, and planes had to be de-iced, and they couldn't get other planes in from other places, and it was a madhouse at the airport that day. We were delayed for 8 hours in the airport, and I had brought one book with me that I had almost finished in my carry-on luggage. I was literally 50 pages from finishing it, but I figured I was going to be on the flight, probably watching the in-flight movie, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, I had a book with me, but I probably wouldn't finish it until we got on the ship. Well, 20 minutes, a half an hour in, I've now finished this book and have nothing to read. And God knows how many hours ahead of me to wait. So I start wandering around, find a bookstore, and I happen to notice Confessions of a Shopaholic, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. I finished it before we got on the plane. It was so good. It was so funny. I remember lounging in the seat beside my mom and reading her passages and laughing out loud. I had like other people entertained that were sitting around with us, you know, like it was absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend it. It's a great mindless read to, you know, to enjoy if you like chick lit. The next ones I want to talk about are, of course, the Harlequin category romance. I love these books. These are such great holiday vacation reads because they're most of the time. These are actually, this is a duets novel, and it's 2 stories in one. So really though, they're not very long, and the print is big. I mean, these are fun. They're mindless. If you like romance novels, check these out. My very first Harlequin book I bought at a Walmart on my way to my grandmother's cottage to spend a week on vacation. And this is the series that started my love of Harlequin novels. What was that book called? Heaven Sent and Shotgun Nanny. I'll put the cover of it here. I don't have it anymore. I actually have it in my cart on thriftbooks.com to order with my next order because I need a copy of it again in my life because I love that book. So yes, any Harlequin category romance, highly, highly recommend. And there really is a little something for everyone if you like romance novels. You know, there's these fun, these are the more romantic comedy ones. They have your more standard with the Harlequin American romance, super editions or super romance and special editions. Then there's the paranormal ones. There's Harlequin romantic suspense if you like romantic suspense novels. There's also the love-inspired line, which is the more Christian fiction. There's the historicals if you like those. I mean, there really is a little something for all romance lovers out there. Great beach reads, and you can pick these up at Walmart. You can pick these up pretty much everywhere. Go into any thrift store and you will find a bunch of these. Yeah, and they're dirt cheap, and they're a lot of fun to read. So the next one I want to talk about is actually celebrating its 10th anniversary today, and it was a book I thoroughly enjoyed reading over my summer vacation. And that is called Thriller, Stories to Keep You Up at Night, and it was edited by James Patterson. There are a ton of authors. I bought this book on hardcover, and I remember trying to carry it around, and it was insane. I'm not big on horror stories, but these I really loved. So they have now re-released this book for the 10th anniversary. So if you're around and you spot it, definitely pick it up if you like that genre, because these are a lot of fun. They're quick reads, like, you know, something if you're going to sit outside by the pool, or, you know, just enjoying the sunshine or the shade and a cold drink. You know, take it with you and you can read a short story and then, you know, bring it back in, and it's not a huge time commitment. Highly enjoyable. Really love that. The next 2 are both books by Susan Wiggs, who's an absolute favorite author of mine. Both of these books I read a number of years ago. The Ocean Between Us I read on my honeymoon 6 years ago. And because my husband and I bought ourselves as kind of wedding gifts to each other, the very first Kobos, Generation 1 for the Kobo, which is the Chapters Indigo version of the Kindle. And this is probably the first book I bought for it, and I loved it. It is a great story about, and it was a great story to read just after getting married to boot. It's about a husband and wife, and they've been married for a number of years. They have teenage children, and he is in the Navy, if I remember correctly. It must be the Navy. And he's on a carrier ship. And at the very beginning of the book, something happens. Well, then the story goes back in time, and it jumps back and forth throughout the book. But right from when they first started dating, to getting married, to having the babies, and how they've kind of done this as a couple, and how this incident could possibly make or break their marriage. Really, really great novel. Susan Wiggs can write women's fiction so fantastically. Yes, this might be categorized as a romance, but it's so much more than that. It's a relationship novel. It truly is a relationship novel, not just between the husband and wife, but the kids and the extended family. It was really, really good. The other one, also by her, which was equally just as good, was Just Breathe. I read that a couple summers ago. No, I read that longer than that. It's been out for a while. It's probably been almost 10 years since I've read this one. And it's about a woman who finds out that her husband is cheating on her and she's pregnant. She was going to tell him when she finds him cheating on her. So she moves back to her old hometown, and her two aunts help her, and she kind of falls back in love with her high school sweetheart. It's more of a romance than The Ocean Between Us, but it still does deal a lot with family and friends, and it's really, really good. And it takes place on the beach, so it's a great summer read. Another couple, there's some series I want to talk about really, really quickly, because this video is getting long, and that is the Body Mover series by Stephanie Plum. These are absolutely fantastic books. I really, really enjoy them. It's about a woman who is raising her younger brother, and I shouldn't say that. She was raising him, but he's now an adult too. And to make extra money, she takes on jobs helping move dead bodies for the morgue, and hijinks ensue. Absolutely fantastic. The next series is the Fool's Gold series by Susan Mallory. There's like up to book 20 in this now. And it seems like every summer, June, July, and August, she releases 3 more books in the series. So these are just great. Fool's Gold, California is a beautiful location setting for books. It's fictional, but it's still a great place to visit, and I highly recommend those books. The James Patterson Alex Cross series. My husband is reading through them right now and thoroughly enjoying them. They are a great summer, mindless kind of thriller mystery to read. And, of course, the Stephanie Plum series by Jana Bonovich, which I think is to book 22 or 23 now. Really fun, great beach vacation reads. So the last books I want to talk about are a little deeper, if I can use that terminology. The summertime is wonderful. Whether you're picking one book to challenge yourself with, or you're doing the summer book bingo like I am, it's always fun to kind of step just a little bit out of your comfort zone. And yes, all these like little short fun books are fantastic. But let's say you're going away for a couple weeks and you're going camping, or you're going up to a cottage, or you're going to spend it on a beach. Maybe take something that you can really sink your teeth into. So for that, I highly recommend reading Outlander if you haven't read them. Gone with the Wind. Anything by Michener if you like historical. Edward Rutherford is also really, really good for that. John Jakes. I have California Gold here, which was a fantastic book. I read this in high school. Yeah, and this is a tome. This was on my parents' bookshelf, and I always used to look at it, and I finally decided I was going to read it. And I think this was the book that started my love of historical fiction. But yes, I highly recommend something, maybe even a little out of your comfort zone. Try a classic. Maybe if you've never read Jane Austen. I shouldn't speak because I've never read any of the classics. No, I read Dracula a couple years ago, which I really did enjoy. But, something like that. I'm challenging myself this summer doing the summer book bingo by reading some books that may be a little bit more out of my comfort zone. And I think that's always fun to do. So anyway, that's all I have, and I'm sure this video is going to be super duper long, so I am sorry for that. Thank you for sticking through the whole thing, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you've read any of the books I've talked about, if you have any suggestions for great summer reads, please post them in the comments below and let's start a discussion. And until my next video, guys, take care and happy reading. Bye.